You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Bufa. Let's get right to a huge developing story. For the first time in history, a former U.S. president is being indicted on criminal charges. According to the Associated Press, one of Trump's attorneys says a Manhattan grand jury has returned an indictment against the 45th president. Now, as Newsday has reported, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has been investigating Trump over his alleged role in a hush money payment to former porn star Stormy Daniels. Joining me now to discuss is Newsday columnist Joye Brown. Joy, this is big.
That's an understatement. This is a big wow. We've never, ever seen anything like this before. Think about this. A former president of the United States is now under indictment. Like, he will be like anybody else in the state of New York who has been indicted for any kind of crime. At some point in time, he will have to report for an arraignment. At some point in time, he will have to report and have a mugshot made. He will be like anybody else here. But there's also something else going on here. While all of that is taking place in a court, you've also got a lot taking place right now in the court of public opinion. Should the case have been bought? Is he innocent? Is he guilty? All of that, believe it or not, becomes irrelevant. The only relevance you have here in the court of opinion is a reminder, or should be a reminder, that the former president, just like any other person who has been indicted, is supposed to have and is entitled to and does have the presumption of innocence. It will be up to the Manhattan District Attorney to make their case and to convince a jury.
So what can happen now?
What can happen now? Again, this is going to be something we've never ever seen before. As a former U.S. president, for example, Donald Trump has Secret Service protection. How does that play out when he has to walk up the steps to the courtroom? Is the Secret Service is going to be in there? If they go for a jury trial, how are you going to get the jury in there? How are you going to protect the jury? This is a case that has a lot of interest out there. How do you keep the former president safe while at the same time treating him the same way as you were supposed to treat any other person who has come under indictment?
Now, Trump just issued a statement saying it's political persecution. So politically, what does this mean for him, especially here on the island?
Well, let's talk about two things. Again, remember I said the court of public opinion. He and his attorneys are going to be going for the court of public opinion. But to get to the politics of it, that becomes kind of interesting too, because in addition to being a former president Trump is also has declared his intention to run for president in the next time around. So politically for him, this is going to either make people stand with him even more or make people move away from him. We have, again, never seen anything like this before. I will tell you this. President Trump enjoys a lot of support on Long Island, especially in Suffolk County. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes in the court of public opinion. In addition to that, it just so happens that his undeclared opponent for a potential primary for the GOP nomination for president, Ron DeSantis, just happens to have scheduled an appearance at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Nassau County for the weekend. So there's a lot going on here, a lot of eyes in a lot of places. The reason DeSantis is coming to Long Island is because this is prime territory for Republicans now. And with the indictment of the former president and his potential opponent, we're going to have to see what happens.
So what do you think this means for Trump's re-election bid?
I never make predictions on political elections. People will either decide if there is a primary that they're going to keep his vote or have his vote. And you have to remember that he ran and he was successful, not just with hardcore Republicans, as it were, but with people who resonated with the message that he had to send. People who supported the policies that he said he wanted to support, whether it was immigration or anything else that he wanted to do, keep America, make America first, or keep America first, make America great again. There are people who agreed with that. Is that going to be the same going forward? Remember, there are other people who did not agree with that. But it's going to be kind of interesting because, again, with the presumption of innocence, there is nothing, because these things take time, that bars him from campaigning. Nothing bars him from campaigning. And if indeed he goes to a trial, and Long Islanders have seen this in other cases with public officials who have been indicted in federal and state courts and gone to trial, there's going to be a big delay. This stuff does not happen 1, 2, 3, ABC. There's going to be a lot of time in the middle of all the processes here.
All right, Joy Brown, thank you so much for breaking this down for us.